Hey everybody, happy Monday, Community Appreciation Week. I'm lighting this up a little early because we're gonna start at 11 sharp, but I wanted to say hey, and this being Community Appreciation Week, and I'll give you the rundown of everything we've got going on, the whole schedule and all that good stuff. Get settled in. Make sure if you're here with me and you're watching, the chat, if you want to engage in the chat, you need to be a subscriber for 1 whole minute. So if you're having any trouble with the chat, try to subscribe to the station, and you should be able to do that. Get in the chat, say hi, let me know who you are, let me know what you do, let me know what you need, let me know where you're from. If you're from a crazy faraway place, let me know what time it is where you are, and also put some question marks in front of your questions. And if you're in any of the milewalk Academy programs, in any of them, please let me know that. Use a hashtag and give me your little medallion sign so that I know what you have access to. So if I'm answering your question, I can give you a little bit more insight into where you might find it in your programs as well. Right now, I'm going to play a little music and some thoughts from people that I've coached. And I'll do a little of this each week so you can kind of see people like you, the issues they're having, what they went through, and all that good stuff. So I'll see you in a few minutes. I think I'm just going to play this one from some coaching sessions of mine. I'm back. So fun. Love those people. Okay, team, we're rolling. Still got 2 minutes. All right. Great to have everybody. Got a load of fun all week long. I think my iPhone is in the wrong thing. Hang on, I just got to make sure my lights are in order here. Since this hasn't started yet, please forgive me. All right, here we go. Looks like everything's in order. Team, can I get a hey? So I can really officially go now that the pre stuff is done? All right, all good. Hey, 10:59. I've been right on time all morning. I love days like that. Monday motivation. All right, so what's this week all about? Well, once a year, I love to kind of run a whole week with you, just teaching you some stuff, having conversations with you. You know, the whole, my mother always says, hey, Andy, every day is like Mother's Day. Well, in Andyland, every day is Community Day, a Community Appreciation Day. But I do like a little pomp and circumstance every now and again. So I whip together 3 freemiums for you, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll tell you what that is in a second. And hang on, let me make sure my alerts or my phone is silenced. I will tell you what that is. And then we got a couple of premiums on Thursday and Friday. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through something a little holistic about how to get what you want, really how to look at life, anything in your life, your career, and I want to give you a tool about something that'll help you kind of stay on track. And I'll get into more details into that when I actually get into the session. Tomorrow, we're coming back with, I'm going to talk with you about the key areas to make sure that you have covered for your resume and your interviewing stories. I really want to help you punch those up. And so I'm going to go through a checklist with you and kind of walk you through some of the key points that I think you need to focus on. And then on Wednesday, we're actually going to talk about financial components in your compensation package and how to really look at that stuff and how to really dissect it, get it in order, make sure you have a good checklist for that. I've got downloads for you every single day. Then on Thursday, we're going to have a premium program with members of my job search coaching program. Those are people that are in the boot camp, in what was formerly called the job search boot camp. That's on Thursday. And then on Friday, I have a coaching session with my leadership coaching group. And that's on how to build the corporate culture you want. It's really great stuff. All week, we're on at 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So today, tomorrow, and Wednesday are all free. All you do is just show up. Anybody's welcome. And then on Thursday and Friday, you need to be in those paid programs. And if you are in the leadership program, I'll see you on Friday. But even if you're in my job search coaching program, the job search coaching program, I'm giving you a free pass. If you're not in my leadership program, I know a lot of you are, but if you're not, you can come on Friday as well as part of my appreciation for you and your commitment to your career and your dedication to the Milewalk Academy. Okay. All right. So a couple other things really quick. Kara has put a pin under my name in there that all week long, every program that is in the Milewalk Academy, we're not going to walk through all the programs. I'm not going to go into what each program is, but all the programs are on special. The only program that isn't on special is my leadership coaching program because it never goes on special because it's only 81 cents a day. And if I put it on special, I'd have to pay you to come to the program. So I'm not going to do that. So, but everything is on sale. And even if you want to buy some of the bonus programs that we have that are rolled into some of the bigger signature programs like the job search coaching program and the leadership coaching program, you can buy those at a steeply discounted price as well. I may spend 2 or 3 minutes just showing you where those programs are if you'd like to find them. But if you got any questions about them, you can certainly ask me during the shows, and you can email support@milewalk.com if you have any questions. Kara is monitoring that as well. All right, let's get into, all right, Stacy, cut all that stuff out when we clip this stuff together. All right, so what's today all about? And today is about making sure that you are setting up a structure in your life so that you get what you want. There is a proper sequence to doing this. The steps, you can't do them out of order. So there's a proper sequence to doing this. And even if you do everything perfectly right in the order in which it should be done, that the universe says this is how it works, there will be others in this world, including yourself, who are going to try to pull you off your path. So today, we're going to talk about how do you be really directed? How do you ward off those things that oftentimes can be rarely detectable? And also, more importantly, how do you get yourself the right tools so that you know what to do, how to do it, when something is trying to interfere with you and your process and who you are, and what those tools are that you should use. And I'm going to give you a particular tool that you can use for your career, and you can adapt it to your life, but it's something that I really think is going to help you. So we're going to talk about the sequence. I'm going to show you some little examples of how these things creep in. Then we're going to spend a lot of time on the tool itself and how to use it. So I think you're going to like it. And let me, I'm really excited about the Bears. I'm wearing my orange today because, I know football season is like not really here yet, but it's coming. So I'm kind of excited about that. All right. So here's what I want to do. I've got a slide for you guys because I want to walk you. I've got a bunch of show and tells today. So buckle up and let's get over to the slides, and let me give you my interpretation of the sequence in which you need to go through things in your life. Ooh, hang on a second. How about that? I was doing all my prepping, but now you guys are all ahead of the game. Okay, so everything that we do in our life is about who we are. I want you to think of the who as your strategy, your philosophy, your blueprint, your centerpiece, your internal marker, your headline, whatever it is. Everything that we do in our lives is aimed at doing something that feeds our self-image. This is the place to start. Okay, so you don't start with a why. You never start with why. You can't start with the why until you know who you are and why you want to be that. Why comes second. But the first thing is I want you to think about, who I am. Who do I want to be? And you can think about this in layers. So when I think about myself and I think about my interaction and with you and who I am internally and who I am with the world, I think of myself as a career coach who helps people build rewarding careers and lead fulfilled lives. So I don't just teach on careers, I also teach on lifestyle and wellness and high performance and other things. But at the very highest level, that's who I am, right? But there's a lot of people who are that too. Right, or so they call themselves that. That's a place to start, and then from there are layers of who you are. So there's what I do, there's how I do it, but there's also what I strive to be as a who. So I don't want to just be a career coach, for example. I want to be a career coach who is a practitioner coach, meaning I'm gonna find my source of knowledge and experience that I'm going to have. I'm going to reverse engineer it, and I'm going to feed it to you, as opposed to a collection of research that I do. So I'm a practitioner as well. I'm also somebody who wants to explain to you why I think what I think, how this applies to you, so that as I teach you the steps, you understand the rationale. So there's a psychology behind it that's also embodied in my teaching and who I am. At the core, I want to explain it to you because I care about you knowing it. And then another thing about who I am, I want to be present with people because I want to be a teacher who's actually there, working with them, listening to them. So there's a level of presence. So I always think of myself in those 3 Ps, a practitioner, the psychological components, but also that I'm present. So all of this embodies a part of who I am, and there's other things as well. So just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, as you look at the layers of who you are, this is the place to start. Then you could think about your why and what drives you. But when you're thinking about your why, and we're not going to go too much into the why right now, but your why is going to be your greatest source of strength. It's going to be the thing that pulls you through the difficult times. And while we're going to get into some of the layers and the next steps that I think you need to do that will ensure success if you follow them, whenever times get tough, the environment that you set for yourself is going to be highly important in order for your survival, but so too is your why. So I just want you to recognize the sequence here. So when you think about who you are, I want you to ask yourself the question, who exactly do I want to be? You can spell it out because there's who you are at the core, right? I've taught you in some of my freemiums and videos, as well as in my job search coaching program in a much more nauseating detail about how to identify yourself in one sentence, except that who you are is so much more than that one sentence. So for you to personally attain what you want, to live life the way you want, to get what you want, you're gonna need to know who you are at a deeper level. But that's the first step. Okay, that's where you start. You don't start anywhere else because every single thing you're gonna do for the rest of your life is gonna feed who you think you are. So let's make it who you actually are. Let's build that. All right, the next thing is the goals. What do I wanna create? What are my outputs? And you'll notice that that little arrow goes back and forth because the goals you're gonna create for yourself are supporting who you want to be. So what kind of accomplishments do I need to attain to support who I am? That's the second goal you need to ask yourself. So when I think about what I want to create as an output, well, there's different things that I do each week. I create a newsletter so I can communicate with you. I show up here every Thursday at least to communicate with you, right? I want to do that. Those are goals, those are outputs. I create a YouTube channel. Right? That's a goal. What kind of YouTube channel do I want to create? Well, the goal isn't to create a YouTube channel. The goal isn't to create a video each week. That's an output. But the goal is to be able to create, so for example, one of my goals is to create a place where you can go that is wide and deep. It is the only place you'd actually need to visit to find out anything you needed to know about your career, how to find the job you wanted, the career you wanted, and develop yourself within it. That's what I go to create. So those are the goals and the outputs. So the first thing is who do I want to be? The second thing is what accomplishments are going to support who I want to be. Okay? Any of you that are out there that are in my goal setting masterclass or in my productivity challenge, those courses, what do we talk about? All the goals that you set should be set around something you love, but those things that you love should be feeding, right, your lifestyle and your self-image. So that's an important step. And then what's next? Okay, that's the process. So who do I want to be? What goals and accomplishments do I want to attain? And what's the path I need to take to get there? That's the process, that's the steps. There's macro level processes like I want to create a YouTube channel, I want to build something, but the steps to do that are put out a video each week or something like that. There could be sequential steps, there could be little microcosms within, but what is the path that I'm going to take in order to get there? So when I think about creating my channel, I think about the bricks that I'm going to apply each week. Then I think about within the brick, what's that look like? And then as I stack up the bricks, what's the whole picture look like as I work toward the bigger goal? Follow this sequence because everything that you do, how you do what you do, feeds who you are. So when I said the part about, well, I think of myself in the 3 Ps. Well, I could build a YouTube channel by creating a video each week. That's how. Or I could create a YouTube channel by creating a video each week and showing up live each week, right? But I can also include you in the process. That's how I want to do it. Let's feed off what they need. Isn't that the best source of building that? Think in terms of like when I think of my YouTube channel, I think of my YouTube channel as like a puzzle for your life, not mine. right? I don't put my YouTube channel together for me. I put my YouTube channel together for you. So there's a puzzle there. And then I started filling in the puzzle really fast with what I thought you needed because of my practitioner knowledge of being a coach, a career coach, helping you with your job searching and your career development. And then what did you do? Then you came to the party, you engaged, and then what did you do? You asked me questions every week. That helps me fill in the gaps. That helps me add pieces to the puzzle. These are steps that were thoughtfully outlined and then executed. But everything that I do week in, week out is aimed at how am I going to achieve those goals. So the question you want to ask yourself in this box is, what specific steps do I need to take to achieve those goals to support who I am or who I want to be? And then what you're looking at is then it becomes a routine, a belief, a lifestyle. So all the outputs that you're doing become more and more routine. I mean that in a good way, right? Every Tuesday at 6:30, you get a newsletter. Every Tuesday at 6:30, a video goes out on my YouTube channel. We do not miss, ever, right? It's a routine. Everything that we do in the activity and the steps that we take, whether you're working toward a project, whether you're doing something that is maintenance, maybe it's communicating in your relationship, whatever it is always going to be part of the lifestyle. And this is where we spend the most time feeding ourselves that image of who we are. It's in the doing. It's always, always in the doing. So going back to my goal setting masterclass, and the productivity course. Those of you that are in it, you know that every goal that we outline in that program, what does it do? The reps that you go through do what? You need to do it, reflect on it, it rewires your brain, it feeds your self-image, then you get the reward, then you loop it again, and you're always doing this. All right, what is one of the most readily available examples of this for you guys, what I give you? So I know most of you are not job searchers by profession, right? None of you are. Well, maybe some of you, career coaches are teaching it, but most of you have a certain image about yourself when it comes to your job search or when it comes to developing your career. So when I, as your coach, know that you don't have a great self-image, probably because you're doing steps out of order or the wrong steps or steps that won't yield the highest return, what did I do? I tried to show you through my job search challenge. If you're not familiar with this, check it out. But the challenge itself, for purposes of this discussion, is designed to make you do repetitive tasks that are high yield. They give you high ROI. And what does it do? It teaches you how to do something that you're reluctant to do or not sure to do so that you can become consistent and that you can gain confidence through repeated action and results that change the way you think about yourself as a job seeker and what you can offer as an employee. What does that do? It reshapes your self-image. Goes back to who I am in this case, right? I'm constantly working on reshaping your image of yourself so that you will do things that you otherwise would not do, or things that you would have done without my consultation, but now you will do them with more vigor because you're more confident. Okay, so you need to do this for yourself. So everything that you do day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and week out, is what ultimately will change your belief template about yourself. And I think I talked about this last week. Another great way to look at this is for those of you that suffer from imposter syndrome, where you don't believe in yourself. A big part of that is because you are spending time I'm really off the PowerPoint today, but you are spending time here and in a psychoanalysis mode of your history, and you're thinking back about who you are not or when you tripped, and it's giving you all kinds of nastiness that's going through your head. When what should you be doing? You should be spending a lot of your time, like 99% of it, in the doing, because the action and the repetition and the doing is what reshapes your belief about yourself and what you can accomplish. So if you are suffering from that and you can't get out of that sick cycle and loop that you're in, you're just spending time in the wrong place. Don't dwell on your thoughts. Your thoughts are your thoughts. Let them Let them pass. Spend more time focused on and giving your attention to the intention of actually doing. So this is a big deal. Big honking deal. So what's the question here? What daily routines and beliefs support who I am and who I want to be? That's what you need to be looking at here. And then what we want to make sure is that, you saw the big red box, right? There are tools that support your ability to do all of this. All of it, over and over and over again, that completely feed your self-image, that completely feed your ability to accomplish things, that completely feed how you do what you do at a macro and a micro level, and then what you do day in and day out. Now, tools are anything, all right? They could be systems, they could be characteristics and traits, they could be particular conditions, they could be your environment, they could be people, okay? Everything is a tool. Everything is a tool, okay? So the important thing is to notice that most of the time people do this sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the tools, they start at the bottom. They start in the toolbox, right? And I'll be really specific here, because everything in your life, any tool that you attain, any tool that you buy, any tool that you research, any tool that you use, should do what? It should enhance your ability to get accomplished what you want to accomplish. That's part of your strategy. That's part of who you are. But what do? Right? I want to be healthier. I want to go on a diet. You should get this app that counts calories. It's a tool. Is it the right tool? You should try this super fad diet, right? Most people collect tools, but they don't have a strategy for how they're going to use them. So what does this lead to? Well, you have tools you don't need, or maybe you got the wrong tool. Maybe you got a tool that you need, but it isn't the right one. Maybe you're misusing the right one. Maybe within the tool, you don't have the right guidance. This happens. Maybe you got the wrong coach. Maybe the coach is teaching you the wrong things. Maybe the system is teaching you the wrong things. Right? This happens a lot. Let me give you a couple of examples here. You know, when I wanted to become a trainer and a coach, I was converting from a business-to-business owner to a business-to-consumer owner that had to have a different marketing strategy that, guess what, needed tools, right, to use. And what are some examples of tools that I use that you'd be familiar with? Well, YouTube's a tool, right? Apple iTunes is a tool for my podcast, as is Facebook and LinkedIn and my blog, and all kinds of stuff are tools, right? So I had a coach and he said, you got to use all the tools. You got to be everywhere. Except that it wasn't feeding the strategy that I didn't need to have a podcast if I had a YouTube channel that people could just close their eyes if they wanted to just listen to the audio kind of thing, right? So I was spending a lot of time using a tool that was ineffective. But it's just an example. But can you think in your own life where, you know, tools that you have that are ineffective? And then I also said the part about sometimes you're using the right tool, but the coach, the system, the people that are part of your support group tool are giving you the wrong guidance, or guidance that isn't in alignment with who you are and what you want to be, right? So let me give you a great example here. I want to show you. I want to show you something I got from YouTube. So every month, YouTube, at the end of the month, gives the creator of the channel some statistics. And there's all kinds of stuff, you know, how many views, how many subscribers, how many dollars you made on your revenue and all that, on your ad revenue and all that good stuff. So a couple of months ago, I got this little thing that flashed up on my dashboard, and it said, in this period, your videos appealed to a smaller audience. This could mean viewers didn't watch as long, or people, didn't select your video, or they selected your videos less often when they appeared in recommendations. So that's what they were telling me that they thought was something I didn't do effectively during the month. And then it says, instead of focusing on the videos that aren't performing well, take a look at your top videos to learn what topics and formats are working best. Okay, now, YouTube is telling me what it thinks I need to do. And if I was not as disciplined and dialed in and directed and had a strategy, never to waver from my strategy, I would look at that and I would, your heart would sink and you thought you'd had a bad month. Except when I actually looked at what was transpiring during that month, remember I said I treat my YouTube channel like a puzzle. I want it to be the biggest and baddest ass puzzle you could ever see that is completely filled so that when you need anything related to your career, you could go to my YouTube channel and find it, as niche-y an issue as it might be. That's who I am. I want to make sure it's wide. I want to make sure it's deep. And so if I wanted to make sure that my YouTube views were high every month, all I need to do is show up once a week and talk about resume writing, because resume writing gets a lot of views. It gets a lot of clicks. It gets a lot of views. And if my goal was to have a higher number of subscribers, that's nice. My goal is not my subscriber count. My goal is not my view count. My goal and my direction is to have a complete channel, which means when you're asking me questions like you're going to ask me here in an hour, that is important. The questions you ask me are what you need to know. That's what needs to go on the channel. We cut them up. We package them up. We say, oh, hey, there's a puzzle piece missing. Bang, in it goes. Bang, in it goes. I know I'm not going to get as many views on that. You cannot waver. I'm in it for the long game, right? YouTube cares about what? My views. Why? Because it wants to make more money, right? It takes a huge percentage of all the ad spend that goes on my videos. So its best interest, its self-interest, is to tell me how to get my view count up. But that has nothing to do with my goal, except that it looks pretty innocent. But this happens to you every day. Are you the salesperson whose boss comes to you and says, sell the thing, instead of build a relationship with the customer so that they will buy it and never leave? Where's your focal point? Is your attention on your intention, right? Are you the company whose business strategy keeps wavering? Are you the company who dials up a culture but doesn't hire people that align to it? Right? These are all things that throw you off. Did you decide what was important to you and then completely neglect it when you chose that job that you don't like? This is what I'm talking about. All right, so you got to figure out what are the tools I need to help me complete the steps that will accomplish my goals to be who I am. All right, do not start at the bottom with the tools. Do not start in this section down here where everybody is. New fads, new diets, new exercise regimes, right? New apps, new whatevers. So this is really important. You got to get the sequence right. Who I am feeds the goals I create for the accomplishments I want to be who I am. And then I determine the steps it's going to take to achieve the goals, and the steps themselves will yield a lifestyle and an operating mode. And to support all of that, I will get the tools that I need to make sure that I stay on track. Okay, so this is the philosophy that you got to have. I wanted to start with this beginning of Community Appreciation Week because I wanted to have this discussion with you. I've never said it this way to you, to this audience, but I really feel that this is the way that you need to go. And then everything about how you do what you do and all that good stuff comes out of this little pyramid here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this part of the talk. If you're loving it so far, click the thumbs up button, share this. All right, we're gonna shift gears here a little bit. I want to get into the tactics and the tools I want to give you. All right, so with that in mind, first thing I want you to do, okay, this goes across your life, not just for work. Like, I'm a career coach, right? I'm a business owner. I'm a husband. I'm a aspiring triathlete who trains like it's a whole job, right? All that stuff feeds my lifestyle and so forth, right? My healthy lifestyle, and no comments about my martinis and my cigars, but you know what I mean. I want you to think about, who do I want to be? Okay, who do I want to be? Why do I want to be that? I have a very long why. It's long, I say it to myself every day. That's totally dialed in. I know we didn't spend a whole lot of time on that today, but what goals do you want to create? If you want more on this stuff, Job Search Coaching Program goes into all this. The Goal Setting Masterclass takes a wider view of goal setting and accomplishments, and the Productivity Challenge really keeps you moving. Okay, so if you want more on this, that's your first step. All right, but now let's get into the more tactics on the tools. Second thing I want you to do is I want you to develop a list. This list is going to guide you, and most importantly about this list, I want it to be your list, and we're going to spend the rest of the talk talking about this list, how to build it, where you're going to go wrong, and all that good stuff. Now, I want this list to be a guide. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of analogies here. The list I'm talking about is, I want to talk about the list I want you to create. I want you to imagine you were buying a house, and some of you probably just look at the houses and you're like, oh, this is great, I'm going to buy it. That's very emotional. That's what most of us do, and that's what most of us do when we change jobs. I want you to imagine you're going to be really thoughtful, and you're going to think about, okay, I need a kitchen. It's a must-have, and in the kitchen, I need a stove. That's a must-have, right, unless you eat out every night. And the Viking stove would be really nice, but I probably don't need that. The Sub-Z, that'd be super, but I don't need that kind of thing. Now, I want a family room. I need 3 bedrooms because I got, 5 kids. I would love a fireplace. Office would be nice because I work from home, right? I need an area for the gym. That would be pretty good. Maybe that's a high-ish, but not super high, but high, right? And you're going to go through all that. And then what you do is you start going and you look at houses. And you look at houses, and then instead of comparing this house to that house, why not compare all these houses to your standard benchmark, your yardstick of measuring homes as far as they would make you happy? That's what I'm talking about. I want you to create a list like this, and I want you to weight it. So these are super high, these are super medium, these are cherries, and so forth, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use this all the time for the rest of your life. And you're going to use it as you choose careers, like, do I want to be a marketing specialist? Do I want to own my own marketing agency? Do I want, whatever it might be. And then, or maybe I'm looking for jobs. Does this employer match my lists better than that employer? You're not comparing the 2 employers against each other. You're comparing each employer against your list. And same thing with a role. How happy will this role make me? Now, this list, I call it many things. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it happiness factors. That's a good name. You can call it your criteria. That's a good name. You could call it your list of needs. That's a good name. All right, but basically, first thing is I just want you to conceptualize what this list is. And I'm going to be really prescriptive, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. But this is how you're going to use it. So I've got a list of things that I want, that I know are my total nirvana. If I could actually check off every single thing to the degree I want it, I would know that I would be in absolute heaven. Now, you don't have to get everything, but there's certain things that you want. And I want to make sure you get them. All right, now, I want to talk about why people generally fail at this exercise. Now, without going into the entire psychology behind decision making, if you're really interested in my thoughts on the psychology of decision making, I have included it in the Hiring Prophecies. So it's the book that I wrote for corporations on how to hire better, about the process that job seekers go through when they change jobs, how emotional it is. They use moral algebra and all this other stuff that's really, really a poor technique where they're comparing A against B. pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, instead of making a benchmark that they can evaluate everything from. And what most people do when they make good decisions is they have two things going for them. They have good decision-making mechanics, and they have all the information, meaning I have all the information, no inaccurate assumptions, no blind spots. Because when you don't have information or you have false information, you're making the decision in an as educated manner as you can, except in that case, it's uneducated or it's incorrect. So I want to take you through why this is so important. So the first thing is I need you to make the list. All right, so evaluate yourself before you evaluate your options. So this is mistake number one, is what happens. Hey, I got a job opportunity, you want to look at it. Or you're just poking around and one surfaces. But if you don't have your needs in order, you don't know whether that's a good match for you or not. So what do? You're in reaction mode. I want you to be in proactivity mode, where you've done all this first. This is mistake number one. Mistake number two is what I was just saying here about it being incomplete. The longer your list, the better your list. You don't have to get everything, and you don't need to think of yourself as a high maintenance person. You need to think of yourself as a comprehensive, thoroughly thought through person, because this would make me super, super happy. Could I live without some of these things? Of course. But the more complete it is, the better. So don't short it thinking, oh, well, I could go with the flow with that stuff. It doesn't work that way. If you have 3 items and you go 3 for 3, I'm not nearly as certain as if you have 25 items and go 20 for 25 and getting what you want. It's all the other stuff that you didn't think about or evaluate properly that's going to screw you, okay? And then the other thing that people do from a mistakes standpoint with this list is they overemphasize recency. So the current issues I'm facing are the biggest pains in my butt. My boss is a micromanager. My commute is too far. I haven't had a raise in a long time. Yes, those are all important, but so too are the other 15 things that you actually have that are good about your current job. But what do people do, right? The short brunette just broke up with me. I'm gonna go find me a tall blonde kind of thing, right? That's what we do, right? We think we need something different. And that's you just need to make sure that you're not doing this. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You're not digging deep enough. All right, so I've got a list and everything's in order, except you're skimming the surface and you're not actually getting all the information from an employer or through your research for your career. What's it really like to be a career coach? I think that would be cool, man. Andy just shows up on Thursday and he seems like he's got the life. You really got to see what happens when the camera's off. Okay, so are you researching everything, whether that's your, the career you want or the company you want or the role? Hey, it sounds cool. I'm a project manager. I think I should be a product manager. What do you know about that? Superficial stuff. All right, so you gotta look deep enough. All right, so let's get to the here's how, and then let's do a little demo. All right, first thing, let's make this simple. Make a list of all the things you want, all right? All your must-haves, all your nice ones, and all your cherries on top. Must-have, nice to have, really nice to have. Make a list of what those are. Second thing is, I want you to make it yours, not someone else's. Don't like something because somebody told you you'll like it. Just because mom and dad are an accountant doesn't mean you need to be an accountant. Okay? Just because mom and dad are a doctor doesn't mean you need to be a doctor. Just because your friend joined a PE company doesn't mean you need to. Okay? Make it your list. And then one of the things that I definitely want you to do is make it internal, not external. So this part here is about making sure that you're coming from here. You got to live with yourself 100% of the time. Right? You will never have an experience that you are not at the absolute center of. You live with this all the time. Don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about what you think is going to happen years down the road. Do it for now. Do it for some of the stuff that you foresee in the midterm. Do it according to who you are, what you want to accomplish, where you want to go, and all that good stuff. You got to make it your own, and it's got to come from inside. Okay? The next thing is I want to make sure that as you start this list, in order to negate the recency bias, right, things that are at issue, If I asked you right now, hey, write down everything you don't like about your current role, you could do it really fast. If I said to you, here's a blank sheet of paper, tell me everything you need, that's hard work. Okay, so what do I need you to do? I want you to go back and reflect, go back in the day when you were the happiest. Start writing. What was it about that? Had a great support team. I really loved my clients. Why did you love your clients? They were really engaging in support. Awesome. Write that down. Right? I liked traveling at that time. Well, the 32-year-old Andy loved traveling. The 55 to be Andy doesn't love traveling for work as much. Okay, so while I was really happy then, that's not a requirement I want now, or a need, or a criteria, or anything like that. But when were you happiness? Generate this. What does this do? It's going to help you generate a more complete list about the things that actually make you happy. You'll also be able to extract these out of your current situation. When was I happiest? Then lean on this one. What are all the things I don't like? You can say, my boss is a micromanager. He yells at me all the time. Fine. But in your happiness list, you're going to turn it around and give me the antonym. I need a loving and supporting boss, and so on. All right. So 5 steps to make that list. Now, I want to tell you something. This is really a really hard tool to develop. It's really hard. And I want to tell you something from experience. As an executive recruiter, we've recruited more than 15,000 people. We've got data from way back for more than 12,000 people that we've collected it. And whenever I have a recruitment call with somebody, Andy Milewalk, recruiter guy, when I talk to a job candidate or job seeker and I say, okay, what are you looking for? Give me your happiness factors, basically. They name 2 or 3 or 4, and then they run out of steam. They're not able to come up with them from a blank sheet of paper, but that's where I want them to start. And then what does it take? It takes some prompting. And then based on some prompting, when I ask them questions, I'm able to ask them questions because I've collected data from all of these people, hand-to-hand data. Okay, not like fill out a survey, but hand-to-hand data through interviews. And I know what the top 15 or so happiness factors are from many, many years, 15, 16 years worth of data gathering. So I'm able to give them prompters. And then they say, oh yeah, that's really important. All right, well, it wasn't important 3 seconds ago. Why is it important now after I've said it? So I need you to think through this stuff. And I'm telling you that from all of that data, I've gathered what the top 15 are. So I want to give you some context of what those 15 are, because as you create your list, it's going to be a great starting point. And when I talk about the usage of this tool and how you use it to neutralize the emotion that accompanies a decision as big as job changing, buying houses, buying cars, I've done all kind of research on this, data analysis, interviews with psychologists, all kinds of stuff about why people make bad decisions. And this tool, without going into all that, this tool will help. If you just go through the mechanics of what I'm showing you, at a minimum, you'll be able to investigate areas that are important to you. You'll have less blind spots, you'll have less inaccurate assumptions, and the more effective that you get at this and the more data that you gather, the more effective and educated your decision will be about the career you want to choose, the employer you want to take, or the role you want to be in. Okay, so what does this all look like? So let me get to my little sheet here. So this is a tool that I give to the people in my job search coaching program. It's a spreadsheet for analysis that basically I say to them, okay, you paid your money. I built the tool for you. It's a massive starting point, and it's easier for you to retract and erase than it is for you to generate this from scratch. What I'm showing you here is in column A, this primary criteria is what I'm talking about. So with all these interviews and all this investigation, I know, for example, that appreciation is something that's very important, except that appreciation in and of itself comes in different forms. Any of you familiar with the 5 love languages out there? can I get a little, hey, does anybody know what the 5 love languages, right? If you're not familiar with this concept, appreciation in terms of you and the employer is just like a love language. So the love languages, if you're not familiar with this, are, things like words of affirmation, meaning I'm telling you I love you. Or some people like gifts. Some people like quality time, and so on. Okay, well, guess what? If you're a gifts person and I'm a words of affirmation person, and I'm interacting with you and I'm telling you I love you, and you're like, that's great, but I don't feel appreciated because you didn't buy me the jewelry. Okay, that's a great analogy for appreciation. So while appreciation is really important, you have to break this down. Well, commendations, salary increases, promotions, maybe I want the corner office. So you have to break this down. Now I'm leaving this to you, okay? I'm giving you the column A. And then you got to build out the rest of this stuff to take it down to a lower level. Okay, atmosphere is another one. You're going to see a lot of hidden rows here because I've blown this out for the people in the boot camp. Autonomy, my boss, you get the idea. Challenge, collaboration, commute, and this here is just what are those things? And contribution. Culture is a great one. By the way, depending on when you're watching this, but if you're here with me live on Friday, we're going to be talking about how to build the culture you want in my leadership coaching program. If you're watching this on a replay, we've already had that session. But these are, again, based on interactions with companies and individuals. So as a recruiter, evaluating their cultural components, you have to break down culture in and of itself is not the criteria. In this case, you got to go down to the adjectives, and then you got to investigate the adjectives because why? Because your blend of cultural fit is different than my blend of cultural fit. So I have to get mine in order. Is advanced base or meritocracy more important to me? Is this an employee focused? Well, I don't really care as long as I get the experience. Everybody's a little different. Back to the love languages kind of thing. But this is what I mean. So you're creating this tool, and then what you can do with the tool is you rank it. Like, how important is it? And then what questions am I going to ask the employer in order to evaluate it? And then you get your different options, and then you evaluate everything against your standard yardstick. So that column A came from more than 12,000 interviews with individuals. And so what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to give you column A. Okay, I'm not going to give you the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is something that the paying members of the job search coaching program get. There's like 86 lines or rows in that, and all that's built out for them so that when they go to market, they already have a massive head start. So what they're doing most of the time is they're looking at the spreadsheet and going, okay, that matters to me, that doesn't matter, that matters, that doesn't matter, here's the question I need to ask, here's how I need to investigate it, and so on, and then they can evaluate their options. The columns themselves, figuratively, will change for you depending on what? Depending on your career goal. Are you looking to change careers? The columns will read, secure the marketing position or whatever, marketing analyst, or start my own agency or whatever, or different lines of roles or whatever. Most of you, 90% of you, you're looking to change companies. So your columns are going to be employers. All right. Now, what I'll do, I'm going to give you a download. Kara, let's flip the download, the pin right now in the chat, and let me give you guys an idea. So what I did was I created this this download for you. So this checklist is a free checklist. If you're in my job search coaching program, you do not need this because I gave you the spreadsheet with all this blown out. But for those of you that are not in the program, you can get this checklist that Kara is now pinning, and it's a free download, and just go grab it. But I'm telling you that these are the 15 most common interests and needs and criteria from all those people. They don't have to be yours, but I want to give you a starting point because the goal here is to create a list of like 20 of these or so. 25 is better, 30 is better. Okay, and you have to remember, it's sub-items too. So culture could have 5, 10, 15 different characteristics that you're looking for. And it's important that you know how to investigate them. But at a minimum, for this talk, I want to make sure that we're talking about giving you the concepts and the starting point of the tool. Now, you can go build your own spreadsheet if you want, or you can enroll in my program and take mine. It's entirely up to you. Anybody can have this freebie now. So I want to recap. I want to recap this just really quick. So I'm not going to recap the whole talk, but I do want to recap some of the mechanics of building this. So you're going to make a list. You can take the download and start your list. Then you want to rate them. It's really nice to have, or it's must have, nice to have, and really nice to have. The goal is to get most alignment on the must haves, right? So think about as you're evaluating something, just because one employer matches 10 things, but if this other employer matches 3 things, but the 3 things that they match are your home run needs, those 3 things might outweigh those 10 things from another employer. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure it's your list, not somebody else's. Make sure that you're doing it internally. Don't worry about how this will look. I want you to be happy at the moment. You will learn more. You will do your job better. You will get more advancement. Everything else will work out perfectly. Okay? And then reflect on the good old times. When was I happiest? Make the list. What don't I want? And then flip them over and make them antonyms, and then go. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. All right, did it in a pretty good amount of time. I'm guessing probably 40 minutes or so, but I hope you enjoyed that. That's the first package for this week. And if you're here with me live, we're going to the Q&A. If you are watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week, actually, because this will be out in the world sometime later. But I hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you're here with me live, I want to just show you where, kind of what's on sale. That's it. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to tell you what's where. Go to the milewalk Academy. You go to the milewalk Academy, you can grab the free interview intervention book for a few bucks. The job search coaching program's $100 off through Friday. We've got a coaching session on Thursday with just these people. The resume writing workshop's normally $300. You can get it for $100 or $97. The interview intervention course is actually a collection of courses. The interview mastery course is in there. Same thing, $200 off. The job search challenge is pretty sweet. This teaches you all the mechanics of job searching. And then if you want a little light version of my job search coaching program, a very light version, I did like a greatest hits of 2021 of how to job search. So resume writing, job searching, boss hunting in particular, interviewing, and salary negotiation. That's $100. Any of these programs that you enroll in, you get credit for the job search coaching program. So if a month from now or a week from now or 2 days from now, you want to get into the big program, fully supported, online support, live group coaching support, all kinds of other goodness, you can always pay the difference. It's creditable. That's if you're in the job search curriculum side. The leadership program is a great program. We meet every 4 weeks as a group, or you get the recordings. In March, for example, we created an entire productivity course. So these courses are part of my leadership, self-help, and high-performance curriculum. If you enroll in this leadership program, you get the Career Accelerator and the Productivity Challenge no matter what program you're on, because there's a monthly membership, an annual membership, and a lifetime membership. So any of those get these two. If you're on the annual pass, you also get a free look at the Goal Setting Masterclass. And so if you, depending on the plan you're on, you'll have all 3 of those or 2 of those. If you don't want to get into the leadership program, you can grab each one of these. This one's $300 off. The Career Accelerator is $300 off. The Productivity Challenge is $200 off. I've basically made everything $97. That's $100 off. So you can grab those. Check the front page. I'm not going to go into these unless you actually have questions. That's all I'm going to do as far as what's on sale. You can have at it. If you want to be in the coaching program and come Thursday, you just need to be in before 11 o'clock on Thursday. But the program itself, the coaching program for both the job searching and the leadership curriculums, the leadership's good all the time, and the job search coaching program is good through the end of the week. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me see. What do we got here on questions? Actually, Stacy, I do see Varun's. Is there something underneath the pin? Sorry, hold on, guys. Let me see if I can get. Stace, maybe help me out. What's the first one? What's the first one that you have? I'm trying to see if I can. I have somebody at 11:01. I want to say hi, Miss Free. Hey, Mr. 97, my man. How you doing, Mr. Dahlberg? Bow. How are you? Or I don't know if it's Bow or Boff. Great to see you, Tom Phillips, Jules, Kevin. Oh my God, Deidre, great to have you. Good morning to you, and Joyce, and Ying, and Pablo. Oh, my boot campers, and Dennis from Germany, and Jody, and Aylin, and Deb, and unrepentant hot Lana Drew. Great to see you guys. Stace, what's the first question here that you have from? I think you asked me if I had Varun's, and I did not. While I'm fiddling about, folks, make sure to grab the top 15 happiness factors for employees. Support at milewalk.com if you have any issues. Okay, let me see. Varun, my Canadian brother from another mother. Great to see you. I don't know if you have any chickens at your house. I have 3 left at my house. How do you negotiate salary for a new job that is a contract but no benefits? Or I'm not sure what RESP matches means. Couldn't find your video on this. So negotiation for a contract is all the same things apply conceptually, psychologically. There are going to be other things, like you said, no benefits and these other components that are not included. So you don't have as many opportunities to get additional things increased or concessions in some areas where if they can't make concessions in another. The video you're looking for is multiple videos, but go to the salary negotiation playlist and check that out, because ultimately what this comes down to for you is it's talking about the value you're going to contribute. Now, there is going to be some issue depending on whether you're interacting directly with the employer or you're going through a staffing agency. The staffing agency is going to want to suppress your rate somewhat, because effectively what most of the staffing firms do is they have a markup on top, an agreed markup basically, usually, with the organization that says, all right, we've got a contractor and we want to bill you $80 for the contractor, and that's, our negotiated rate or whatever. And then for Varun, we're going to give Varun 65 of that or 50 or whatever. There's going to be a markup. It may or may not be disclosed to the employer. It depends what kind of billing arrangement they have. It depends if the employer pays you direct or they pay the staffing firm. So they're making 2 payments. They're making the staffing firm's payment, or they're making the payment to you, or they're just making the payment to the staffing firm and the staffing firm is making it to you. Or the other scenario is you're going in direct and the employer is just going to give you a 1099 or something like that. So you have to make the argument of why you're worth more. And it's the same as all the other stuff that I've shown you. And I don't know if you have the mini camp, but the mini camp case study, even though it has the job search mini camp, there is a beautiful case study that would probably suffice for 90% of you in how to negotiate. And I take you through it, soup to nuts, A to Z, and that is a great way for you to go about it. Even though you don't have as many elements to negotiate, it's still the same process. So I hope that helps. And then Adam Stark, regarding the tell me about yourself question, I'm aware of the formula to use, but how do you talk about each role? Do you list relevant duties with achievements and lessons sprinkled in? Okay, couple things. When you are telling me about yourself, Adam is referencing a video I have that's out there called How to Answer the Tell Me About Yourself question. And you could all go watch that. Every single time, the Tell Me About Yourself response is different because you have to align what you're going to share to what it is they need to know. What they need to know will either come out from them saying, I really am interested in understanding this, because you asked them, is there any particular part of my background that you're interested in knowing that'll help you make a great decision about hiring me as you walk through it. You need to do your homework to blueprint where you're going to skim and where you're going to anchor. And if you don't know what those terms are, is you skim through stuff that may or may not be important, but they don't need the details on. I'll give you a great example. I spent 10 years of my life from like 21 to 32 at Anderson Consulting, which is now Accenture, okay? If somebody said to me, okay, now, and since that time, I've gone on to work, it's another zillion years, and I've been working for 30 some odd years. Those are the first 10. Somebody said, Andy, tell me about yourself. I'd say, I spent 10 years working at Anderson Consulting, which is now Accenture, which is where I got my consulting experience, and I saw a bajillion companies, and I ran large teams. That's a skim. 10 years of my life in 10 seconds. Okay, because that's not important to what they're going to be hiring me for now, which is a C-level position at some company, right? So if I'm telling them about myself, that's a skim, because that's not germane to the details they need to know about whether I could take them to the next level. However, it is nice for them to get context and a whole picture about me, okay? All right, well then you have got to pick the anchor points throughout the story. So you zip through the stuff that doesn't matter. And by the way, this is not serial, right? It's not like skim, 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 anchor, anchor, anchor. It's like skim, anchor, right? So you don't, because we don't know what your sequence looks like. I don't know what the job description looks like. I don't know what components of your background are going to be important as it relates to the job that you're actually doing, right? So when you talk about duties, achievements, lessons, and so on, I want you to go deep in the areas like, oh, wait, so I started at this agency over here, blah, 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 and I started to cut my teeth in marketing. Then I became much more focused on event planning because Adam's an event planner. Then you say, okay, so when I got here, what's really interesting to know about this is, zoom. Now you go down deep. Then you say, and I set up this campaign, and I held these events, and I did this, and I raised all these people, and we made all these sales because all these people, and right, now you're going into details because you're interviewing for an event planning job, right? But when you're whatever, that's irrelevant, right? But just say, hey, it's marketing. I've got a diverse marketing background. I started here and then I went here, right? I don't know what that's going to look like because I don't know what the job description is going to look like, but I'm going to tailor my history to the job description, right? Because I'm going to ask them what's important, but I'm going to assume that what's in that job description should be important. Otherwise, you didn't put it in there. Right? And I'm going to go and then I'm going to look at the job description and I'm going to focus on required skills, required experience, right? That kind of stuff. That's a great question, by the way. Everything can be tailored. And the next interview you have with a different company, you might have to do something a little different. Maybe not. All right, hope that helped. And Lauren Tudor, how you doing? Look at that smile. Okay. This is great. She asked me this on the Facebook group, and I said, hey, can you ask me that in the sessions? You are a new boot camp. Oh, wait, did I miss one? No, I think I got it. All right. Q Andy. 2 space saver resume questions. First one, how do I reflect 5 promotions over 16 years with the same company? I also left the company for a brief period of time, then returned. How do I order the companies in professional experience? Additional context needed. I am a new boot camper seeking either to join a consulting firm or start my own sales and marketing consulting firm agency for small business. And I don't see the other, if there's another question. Okay, so a couple things. There's multiple ways of handling this. Now, there's a couple of if-thens here. And I'm gonna, and Lauren, this is such a great question. I'm so glad I saw it yesterday and you asked me this today because I think a lot of people are gonna benefit from this. The 5 positions or 4 positions that she had, 5 promotions, whatever it is. So say maybe 6 positions. There are a couple of different tricks you can do. Context, right? If you are in the same line, I actually, Lauren, I think that these are diverse positions, but let's just start with the simple tactic first. If they are evolutionary and in the same stream on the totem pole, meaning I'm a senior analyst, or junior analyst, senior analyst, grand poobah analyst, whatever, and you're rising up and you're getting promoted through several layers on the totem pole. I'm a developer, I'm a designer, I'm a technical team leader, I'm a technical project manager, I'm a whatever, right? Those kinds of things. You want to show the promotions, but if you don't want to really take up a lot of real estate on the resume and list very similar functions that cross the same path in the totem pole, you could do a couple things. In the title, in this case, if you go to the Andrew LaCivita School of Resume Writing, you have a title. You have a company, then a company description, then a title description. And in the title description, there's some housekeeping as to the boring stuff that you do that's housekeeping that has no real flair to it. You just need to get it out so that they know what you do. In that case, you can do, and by the way, you can do this as many times as you need to save the real estate you need to, because 5 promotions is a lot. Most of you don't have that many in the same totem pole area. So what you want to do is you could say, promoted through the ranks from junior analyst to senior analyst, responsible for, and then give the housekeeping stuff right there. And then they can see that evolution. All right. And you could even, if you wanted to make it a bit disruptive, you could say junior analyst 2012 to 13, analyst 2014 to 2015. Like, you could just put little parentheses in there and then list your key highlights across the functions. And then what the really cool thing about this is that if you actually had to go into the applicant trashing system, the applicant trashing system is going to look at the range of dates that you have for the main title, which is the highest level that you attained. It's going to give you all that credit, but the human is going to see it, and they're going to see the evolution in that little description. That's going to save you a bunch of real estate. That's one way. Another way is if you've done and bounced in different areas, then what you want to do is you want to peel it out as much as possible, okay, below. But what you can do is elevate it to the company description. Why do you want to go to the company description? Because these aren't on the same totem pole. They're, I was in marketing and sales and whatever, whatever the different different things were. And I know you said that you're going into a different, you want to go into a marketing consulting agency, but I don't know all the details of your background. But you could say, held various positions within company across different functional units such as sales, marketing, boom, boom. And you could do some of that, responsibilities including, and then just give a brief description to show something like that. Now, if you worked in various areas and these were promotions, even though you were crossing functional lines, that is something I would want to spend more time blowing out in the resume. Then what I would do is I probably wouldn't put as much detail under the bullets, but I would give them the major accomplishments. And remember this, 5 promotions doesn't occur usually in a super short period of time. I don't know if you said how many years you were at the company, but if you're at the company like 15 years, right, the stuff that's way down at the bottom is probably not as germane. It could be very thin. So that's another trick to doing that. And so I know you had one other issue, which was, hey, I actually was here for a few years, then off 7 months elsewhere, and then whatever. That's tricky. Here's what I would do. Company XYZ, 2012, I don't know what the years are, 2012 to 2015, 2016 to present. and then below it, you just put, other company 2015 or whatever it was. And then they'll see it. It's not a big deal. That really will not confuse a recruiter. And here's a kicker for you. Recruiters love, if you left a company and went back to the company, that's a sign that you left on good terms and you were brought back. You don't get penalized for that. You don't, right? Hey, she parted on good terms. She must be a great employee. They brought her back and she must have liked it there. So that's how I would think. I mean, I got all kinds of tricks. Like if I actually see your resume, if we ever do a coaching session or I do a resume review with you, I could go through all this and that thing will sing. So I hope that helps. And I hope that helps all of you, because I know this gets tricky when you have a lot of that stuff. None of us are it's just never a straight line, But that, Lauren, that's great, and welcome to the boot camp. And you tell that James Ray I said hey. All right, Drew, hey dude. Rob, how are you? You're welcome for the videos. Did you guys get my email yesterday with the 8 motivational videos? I sent it out yesterday morning, 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time. If you're not on my newsletter list, why the hell not? If you're not subscribed to the channel, why the hell not? Make sure to subscribe so you get my new videos on Tuesday and you can come to live office hours on Thursdays, or you don't miss anything like Community Appreciation Week. All right, Jim R., hey to you. Donna, what's up from Canada? David, my boot camper, how's things in Florida? Hey, David, I'm in Clearwater on October 22nd. Gonna have a meetup. Hope you can make it. Dennis C., how you doing? From Europe, currently 1751. I love it. 551, computer science. Awesome. Jeff, Cornelia, my boot campers. Deanna Foot in the Bronx. Love to hear it. Eni, how are you? Eni from India. That's not one I'm going to forget. Sean, oh, can I put this up, buddy? So, Sean, buddy, I love your story, man. Sean is a boot camper. He's in my job search coaching program, and he was struggling to get interviews. He's a very, very senior marketing executive. And he enrolled in the program. He went through the program. He was still struggling a little bit. We had a coaching session, and we focused on interviewing tactics and job searching tactics. And he now has 3 interviews this week. Make me proud, buddy. Send me an email. Let me know how they go. Do the victory dance. Put you on the wall of fame. Ann, how do? Jay. Michael Moore, what's up? Aylin, my dear, you are just a bundle of joy and a joy to have in all the programs. Hope you got the book, The Hiring Prophecy, signed copy. Darsh, John, great to have you. Clay, my boot camper, and baby girl, my Instagram friend, always enjoying it. Dana, how you doing? Let me see, where's the question? Nathan, Jay. Carrie Freeman, how you doing? Esmeralda, what's the good word? Okay, Dennis, we got a question. Hey, team, keep me honest. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I try to go through these slow because I don't want to miss anything. Andrew LaCivita, have you gotten around by any chance to read my email regarding translated content? Would really enjoy making your content accessible further. I appreciate that. We get a lot of requests to do that, which I always appreciate. And at this moment, we're holding. Jennifer Gregory, Brandon the detail guy. Who's that? The Gordy Tiger. Oh, look at Aylin. Thank you for the encouragement. And Vanessa, what's the good word? Jose, don't worry. Work for money. Let the money work for you. Denisha, how you doing? Yeah, I try and wear different colors so you guys can mark where I answer your questions. Oh my God. All right, you guys are great. Just zipping through here. Where's the question? You guys are awesome. Deidre, what's the good word here? I had an interview last Friday. Interview read pay rate in ATS. She asked me if it's negotiable. I said, yes, you should. I received a job offer. How should I negotiate the pay rate? check the, Deidre, I believe you were in the mini camp, which you just said, and you want to follow exactly session 4 of the mini camp, the negotiation case study. It's the exact way, because you now have much better knowledge of what it is that they're asking you to do, the value you can contribute, what the benefits and all that other stuff are that are rolled in. So that's what I would do. I would go to that. You've got the assets. Do that. Follow that protocol. Ying from Shanghai. Oh, it's got to be late by you. And Pablo, my good man. Dennis Humphreys. Jody C. from the other side of the pond. And Deb and Sherry. Look at all my boot campers. Can we get a copy of this slide? Unrepentant Drew, you're a boot camper. I'll give you whatever you want. You betcha. Just email support and I'll send it to you. See what we do for our boot campers. Or I'll put it in your system. Either way. And yes, you could certainly screenshot. All right. Gary, how you doing? Kevin Corson, where can I find the Knowing What You Want checklist? Is that on YouTube already? So this here, the happiness criteria, the top 15 happiness factors, this is a freebie that you can have today. It's a download PDF that is right up at the top. It's pinned, and Kara cleverly named it LaCivita Employeeness something or another. I can't read the rest of it, and just grab it. That's that checklist. Oh, I love this. Implementing tools. One of the best tools, this Jennifer, I've had as accountability partner, bi-weekly check-ins with Job Hunting Buddy. We first met at a virtual conference. I love it. And by the way, you guys don't know this yet, but we are looking to build our entire community off the social sites. And we are going to be rolling out a technical platform that is software that we've settled on, where we are going to be having different types of groups within our community. There will be a general population where anybody can be involved, and then there will be premium groups and other things that will also include accountability groups, productivity groups, job search challenge groups, and all kinds of things that you can be involved in. And I do think it's going to be great. Kara starred, is your attention on your intention? Yes, I did say that a couple times. Oh, God, you guys are great. Jennifer, what do you got here? How to best close the skills gap between where you are and where you want to be using transferable skills, i.e. change from sales to marketing. This is awesome. Okay. All y'all career changers out there, or anybody that has to close a gap with skills, hard skills they don't have. Now, the way you ask the question is how to best close the skill gap. Now, that's a process question and a how-to in the doing of how do I go from wherever you were, from sales to marketing. Okay, now what I'm suspecting that you really want is how do I show when I go into an interview or on my resume that I could do marketing? There's two components to this question. Where's the right place to start? The right place to start is in actually building the marketing skills. So you're going to create a plan to figure out what are the marketing and communication skills that I need to develop. What is Marcom? Right? So what mediums are you using to communicate? Are there newsletters? Are there billboards? Are there TV ads? Are there social media sites? Are there, content that you put out? Is there the blog? Is there the whatever? All that stuff. So whatever you're going to do, are you going to put a plan together to build the skills that you need? And can you do that? I don't know if you're currently employed at your current employer where you're building those things. If you're unemployed, where can you learn those things? The act and the doing and the building and the skills is what will really make you more ready to do a great job. The other thing is you can advertise that on your resume and in your interview stories, but the point is you need a plan somewhere on your calendar, whether you're working full-time or you're unemployed or somewhere in between, to actually make sure that you're setting time aside to do that. That's the first thing. And where do I come up with those? Well, literally figure out what the function is within Marcom and the things that interest you and the skills that you need to build. But I would take it down a layer. So what I just rattled off, those are hard skills, meaning specific copywriting, blog development and white paper development, and then circulation and social media, all that stuff. Those are hard skills. But to become a good copywriter, there are foundational skills. What are the foundational skills? Well, the foundational skills that go in the copy itself require you to what? Be in touch with who the buyer is. Don't you do that in sales? That's a capability. Understand the psychology and buying pain points, because that's what you market to. Don't you do that as a seller? Yes. Transferable. I'm 2 for 2 so far. And then you are looking at the ground layer of what are the foundational abilities that make a great marketer a great marketer. It transcends communications too. So you are listing out all those capabilities. Then you are talking about in your interview stories or in your resume where you've developed those skills, right? Selling to the gap, understanding customer pain points, being involved in sales sessions, using certain methodology that goes after it this way. All of that stuff is transferable. Put that in print, put that in your stories. But that's the kind of stuff that you do it. Then you take it up a layer. So I'm gonna apply my foundational ability to understand pain points and sell to the gap as it relates to putting that in print. What does that sound like? Well, it's very simple for me. And if you and I are working together and I was on the phone with you and I had to sell you my coaching services, I could hit you with every pain you're going through right now, even if you didn't tell me what your problem was, right? Because I know what those problems are. They're the same that you all have. You all have them in different degrees, right? But basically I know what those are. All you need to do is open your mouth, tell me the ones, and I can say to you, oh, I understand that hurts. Here's how you solve it. Right? Selling to the gap. Okay, well, when I write you a newsletter, because that's a transfer that I have to make, because I'm not selling my coaching services by word of mouth, and I don't sell them hand to hand, and we don't sell them live, right? And so somebody will see something in a copy that I write in a newsletter, a digester, or whatever, that I'm selling something or engaging in something that you need. That's Marcom copywriting. But the psychology is the same. That's the transferable skill. Now I just have to put it in, right, in the Word document that then Kara takes and puts it in email, right? That's how you're doing that, but you have to know what those are. And then that's how you highlight it. And then you work on your skills by developing that. So that's a great question. And so anybody who's changing careers or functions needs to look at it that way. What do we just get done saying? Who do I want to be? So part of who you want to be now is in marketing communications. What are the goals? What are the steps? Then what do you need to work on day in and day out? Same thing. All right, I'm trying to buzz down. What do we got here? 5 love languages, there they are. Cornelia, can we get a copy of this spreadsheet? Cornelia, go into your boot camp. In the main session of module number 1, in the download section, you have a completely unabridged version of everything. It's all in there, and I even teach you how to use it. All right, Lauren, your words of affirmation. Lauren, you're doing great. I love having you in the program. All right, love it. Where is it for Lori? Session 1 in module 1. How about that for in the beginning? And there's me, apparently, being able to give you the downloads. Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad you liked the interview intervention book. Jeff, thanks for the cheer on. Jennifer Gregory, you're living right here. When creating this job criteria spreadsheet, how to best balance company preferences with individual role preferences. They seem to be 2 separate lists. Excellent, excellent question. Can we give her, hey, Jennifer Gregory, are you in any of my programs? If you are not in, you know what? That's such a damn good question, and I haven't given anything away. Jennifer Gregory, I'll tell you what. You pick any job search program, not the big boot camp, any of those others that you want, and it's yours free. So if you have something, you can pick something else. So you want resume writing help, or you want interviewing help, or you want job search challenge help, or you want the mini camp that gives you a little taste of everything, you can have one of those. So it's a $300 value. Today it's $100, but you get it for free. All right. You are always asking yourself 2 questions. Every question is designed to answer 2 questions. Is this a great company? And is this a great company for me? Now, part of any of these are you financially stable and all that good stuff? Is this the role I want? Is it the marketing communications role that I want? Is it taking me in a direction that I want to go? Does there appear to be career progression, and so on? The spreadsheet, the list, is all encompassing. It's got everything. You have to get everything answered. Otherwise, what? You're making an uninformed decision, or you have incomplete information. So they're not 2 separate lists. Now, the question becomes you evaluating your current state. Your current state could be, I'm a salesperson, I'm X happy. I'm a marketing person. Why do you want to be a marketing person and all that good stuff? Do you really understand what that looks like? Maybe you do. That's great. If you've gone through the reflection process and investigation process and all the research, awesome. Now, if you're going to go and evaluate, is this employer for me or is this role for me? You might have a multi-step process. If I'm you and I'm not sure I want to go into Marcom, I would build my spreadsheet and then I would look at, do I really want to go to Marcom? Okay, let's say I do. All right, now you might have a separate spreadsheet, a duplicate print. Now you're going to evaluate the different employers. But the questions you're going to ask, it's not about balance. It's about you need to get it all. There is no balance in this, people. All right, it's all or none. Like you get it right or you don't, or you get it right or you're half-cocked, and the more less full-cocked you are, the greater risk you are of making a poor decision. If I'm going to go take a job, it better be a great company. It better be the right role for me. I better be set up for success. Or if there are certain things that are not to my liking, I need to either be okay with that or satiated outside my current company. Like, I would love to work for a company who is philanthropic and does all kinds of volunteer this and that, and I have causes. Okay, great. It would be awesome if the company gave me a day every quarter, paid me to go and do stuff. Okay, volunteer. If that is not the case, okay, can I get it elsewhere? Right? You are looking at everything. It's everything. There is no, like, it's complete or it's not. Yes or no. Good or not. So that's the way I look at it. It's not 2 separate lists. Keep it all together. And every single question in that spreadsheet is designed at both of those. Is this a good company in general, and is this a good company for me? So that's the way I would look at that. That's a really, really good question. Wins you a prize. Oh, this is an interesting one. Deb, how are you? Good to see you. Kara's telling me you have a question. Is there a difference between a resume coaching session and a resume review? I think I heard Andy use both terms earlier, but I was not sure if they are 2 different activities. Okay, just so everybody knows, in my job search coaching program, it's fully recorded. It's everything you need. And inside that, you get online support and group coaching. That's what comes with the base package. Then I offer 2 other things. I offer a coaching session, which is like just you and me like this on Zoom, and it's recorded for you, and we give you the transcript, okay? We can talk about anything you want, but normally what happens is you have goals for that session because that's why you paid the money, and then you are going to send all that to me. I'm going to prep. We're going to come together. We're going to confirm your goals, and we're going to talk for an hour, and we'll go through everything. During that session, sometimes people want me to comment on their resume, and that's an effective use of your money because I'm going to look at your resume before we get together, and I'd immediately be able to tell you how effective it is and if there's any areas for improvement, and I can do that really fast. Okay, so if somebody's thinking about, well, should I get a resume review or should I have a coaching session with Andy? It's not a tough choice. Have the coaching session. That's going to pay dividends many times over. And the dialogue itself is really effective. It's important that you get it. It's recorded, the transcript and everything. And I can give you resume feedback right there. Some people don't want to do that. They just want me to go through their resume and line edit it. That's cool too. I do that by myself, and I go through, I take your Word document and I track changes and I go through everything, every little thing. Like I'm knocking out spaces and semicolons and stuff. I'm like everything. And the better the raw material, the better your output will be, meaning my result of your output. Those are separate. So, but you can kind of jimmy my little system if you say, Andy, here's my resume. Let me know what you think and I'll see you on Tuesday, kind of thing. Those are separate. Great question. Kevin Corson, been through 2 late round job interview rounds, 6 to 7 with 2 different companies, both with no reservations about hiring me, but no offers. Any suggestions? More interviews tomorrow. Okay, couple things here. And I'm only going to comment about the one thing that you actually told me. This is, now remember something. The do you have any reservations about hiring me question. If you do not know what Kevin is referring to, one of the very important questions that you should ask at the end of most interviews, not all, you don't ask it after you've been talking to somebody for 15 minutes or the HR person after you've been screened for 30 or 45 minutes. But as you get into the process and you're dealing with people who have great influence over your hire, maybe it's a tech screen, maybe it's the hiring official, maybe it's the hiring official a second time or whatever. It's very important that you ask, do you have any reservations about hiring me? Because the question is designed to elicit any reservations which come in the form of misunderstandings. I misunderstood something you said, in which case I now have a reservation, and now you get a chance to clarify it and clean it up. Or I have a reservation because I made an assumption that was inaccurate because we didn't get a chance to talk about it and I made a faulty assumption and you now get to fill it in and correct it. Boom, number 2. Or I have a reservation, it's an actual reservation like legit, in which case you now get a chance to dampen it. Well, I know I don't have that specific software experience, but you know, I have 10 years in these 3 other products, they're pretty analogous, and so on and so forth. And when I'm, faced with this and I'm a technologist and blah, 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 okay? Now, just because they say they don't have any reservations does not mean somebody else wasn't a better fit. And so then it becomes, did you lose out to somebody? Did they balk? I don't know if you guys know what a balk is. Pitcher Steiner hitches, right? He balks in baseball. Same kind of thing. Employers balk. They say, oh, we're going to hire somebody, and then they don't. They say, oh, we're going to use your recruitment services, and then they don't. Use anybody's. They don't hire anybody. That's a balk, okay? So that could have happened. Or your interviewing stories might not be as powerful as they need to be. By the way, some of these coaching sessions that we go into, and I do the role playing, they get my script and my answers to their questions with their detail in it. And then my coaching clients look at me like, that doesn't sound anything like what I'd say. It's like, yeah. But now how do you feel about what I said? And can you relay that? And there's so much more power to them. And so I would have to dissect it. And it's interesting because when somebody's been through as many interviews as you have, so like when a boot camper comes to a coaching session with me, when they have that data, we solve those problems really fast because they have the data and then I can dissect it and diagnose it and give them the answer. When you don't have a lot of data and you're speculating because of 1 or 2 situations, that's a little harder to troubleshoot. But if you've been through a lot of interview rounds, 6 or 7 is rounds, that could be 1 company, that could be 2 companies. And just because you didn't get jobs, that's not a big enough sampling to know. But I'm guessing that it lies somewhere in your interviewing stories. And let me tell you why I could tell you that from 200 characters. Because if you're going through 6 to 7 rounds of interviews, they are waiting for you to convince them why they should hire you. And if they don't, if they're taking you down to the end, trust me when I tell you, they are not chewing up your time or theirs because they want to. They are thinking, okay, he's still viable, he's still viable, he's still viable. He just didn't really bring it the whole way. And there's something missing. And I would ask for feedbacks. Hey, listen, I really enjoyed it. right? We were together a long time on this. I really like you guys. I really was interested in this position. I'd love any feedback that you have. And I want you to know I'm greatly interested in working for the company. Is there anything you can share? Like that kind of stuff. Try to get that. Believe me, that matters. I mean, I would want to know. I would want to know. That's good stuff there, buddy. Melissa Griggs, 56-year-old in data analytics for 15, but feel like today's data analytics people are on a whole other level than my skills. How can I translate my skills? Been unemployed for 10 months. Okay, I'm going to give you the same feedback that I gave Jennifer, because when so now you didn't say this, although I can infer this from your implication, is a number of people right in their 50s that have a number of years of experience like you do. You've got to make sure that your stories are current. They're not a whole different level. Their skills are probably more current with whatever the technologies, tools, paradigms, protocols, processes are. You need to get up to speed on those. For me, going back to the slide, right? When we're talking about this, let me see if I can get the that's the. Hang on a second. That's not the right one here. Hold on. You see that? There we go. Going back to the slide, you need to be in here. What are the steps you need to take in order to get those skills up to date, right? So this is the kind of stuff that you need to be spending time in the studying, so that as you go through and talk in the interviews, that the interview stories for you are drawing analogies to what you know, to what's being applied today, even if it's loose. The fact that you're able to see what it is that they're doing and the tools that they're using and how they're doing things and the language they're using is really important. You've got to talk current processes. You got to talk current events. And I would highly recommend that you're spending some time learning the right analytics tools that are on the market today. Build your own sandbox in your house, so to speak, and tinker around with it. If you're an analytics person, you should know what the newest tools are. So that's the other thing. Now, I want to go so far as to say one other thing. So you've been unemployed for 10 months. The job search challenge, the day in and day out, the 3 a day, and so on. You gotta stick with it. You gotta be consistent. And I don't know if you've been using it. And some people come to me, you guys find me when you find me, right? And all of you have had journeys before you get to me. And you never come to me because everything is rosy, right? You come to me because you got a problem and it isn't working. And maybe you found me on YouTube, or you found somebody else on YouTube, and then you found me. And what I would say to you is, I don't know if your clock started 10 months ago or if it started 10 minutes ago, but I would really think about the mechanics of the way that you're searching. Because if you're 56 with 15 years in data analytics, I'm telling you, you got skills. You do. And there are employers out there who want them. The question then becomes, it might not be that you don't have the right skills. It's that you're not putting enough effort into the marketing of you. And so not knowing all that, that's always the first place I go. Are you doing enough marketing of you? So think about that. Hope that helped. Tom Phillips, what's the good word? And New View, Marilyn Murphy. Valerie, how do you tailor your story about yourself when there is no job description? Valerie, that question is so awesome. We need to give you a gift. Valerie and Jennifer too, I don't know if I said this, email support@milewalk.com. Pick one of those courses that's on special for $100 and it's yours. And by the way, for both of you, winners so far, if you are not, I just gave you a gift, $100 gift. You can use that $100 to trade up to my $500 program. So you could have a free goose egg $100 gift, or you can apply that as a $99 or $97 coupon to my $500 product. It's up to you, but we'll give you credit. So how do you tailor your story? If there is no job description, the answer is very simple. The question's awesome. The answer's simple. You need to get them to describe what it is they're looking for right then, real time. You need to tell me right now what the job description is. Tell me live, verbally. Where's it hurt? What do you need? Who do you think solves that? Tell me what you're looking for so that I understand as I share me with you and I respond to your interviewing questions, that I have the right context of what you need to know about me to make a great decision. So in an informational interview, same thing, right? Even if it's, where's it hurt? What's the challenge? What are the problems? Who do you think solves that, right? What are you looking for in the employee that is going to focus on that? And then they're going to tell you, well, what we're looking for is, and somebody with these kind of skills would be really, okay, there you go. You got it right there. Boom. It's it. Now you go. And that's how you do that. But first, you do not go and tell them about yourself until you have some context. And if you walk into an interview and somebody says, hey, Valerie Miller, your background was just so awesome, and Andy said we needed to talk to you, so I'm really looking forward to talking to you and about possibilities with my company. Can you tell me about you? You'd say, I'd love to tell you about me. It would be really helpful for me to tell me about you in the context of what would be most helpful for you to know, and what is it that you need? What are your challenges right now? What problems are you trying to solve? Any of that stuff to get them to tell you that, so that then you can paint your story around what they say. They owe it to you. If there's no job description, they will be open to sharing that. Don't think you can't ask a qualifying question in the wake of their question. It's perfectly appropriate. You're not dodging. You're saying, help me give you a better answer that is more valuable to you, right? And more, right? You want them making an informed decision too. If you're talking about stuff over there that's great about you, but doesn't have anything to do with their company or the position that they would like to hire for, or potential problems they need to solve, if there is not a job description, people, there is still a problem that needs to be solved, okay? Or problems that they solve in general that they're looking for. They maybe just haven't written it up yet, but we know we need this fixed. So that's how I would do that, and enjoy whatever course you decide to take. All right. Let me see. Lauren, that's great. Mark, how are you? Evan, my man. Cornelia, love the motivational videos. They kept me. If you guys did not get this, okay, I love those videos. I sent an email yesterday, so please get on my newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, if you take the happiness factors or just go to the main site and click newsletter, you'll get right on the newsletter, because whenever you download something from us, or you take a freemium, then we say, hey, we're going to send you the newsletter and we won't sell your stuff. Look at this. Wait, Agent 99, Julie, great to see ya. Can you guys tell these videos were a hit? Come on, man. They're all free. How you doing? Mike Elliott and Mike Rose. What's the good word, man? Dennis, you're welcome. Corinne, how you doing? I'm glad you're all settled in, I hope. Chris Hamilton, can you do a reverse salary search, any of the platforms? Hey to you. So I do not. Stacy, can we link Chris to the video on no reliable salary sources? Chris, you can poke around and you can ask people and you can do searches and you could get general salaries with Google stuff. There's a ton of sites out there, and I don't think any of them are reliable, and I would not waste 1 millisecond doing that. I really would not. I know some of you think I'm nuts, but I'm telling you that those sites are wholly inaccurate and outdated, and probably were never accurate to begin with. Yeah, can I do a timeout here? Because Aylin is one of my favorite people. So we looked at a whole bunch of platforms because I want to foster better community engagement. I'm never satisfied with the level of engagement. I will never be satisfied. It doesn't matter how much I interact with you. I will never be satisfied with it. And I want to create an environment that fosters more interaction between you guys with each other that we're facilitating, but that you're able to get connected. It's easy for you to inbox, chat, and all this other stuff. And I want to make it on a platform that isn't Facebook, because I understand, well, first off, Facebook is very, very noisy. There's a lot of stuff in my way. I can't see what I'm trying to do with you guys. I don't like LinkedIn at all, and I want to be able to create a platform where it's our version of Facebook. We have all the Facebook-like features, but I can communicate with you more effectively. You can communicate with each other easily and more directly, and you can communicate with people who are in the groups that you are in or interested in. So the premium members are going to have premium groups that, you know, the Team Apollo folks, you're going to have your unit, and then there's the leadership unit, and there's the boot camper unit, but there'll be my ambassadors, the affiliates, there'll be people that want to hold accountability on productivity and other things. So we've been setting it all up, and it takes a bit of time, and there's a lot of nuances to it, and we want to make sure that the strategy's in order before we roll this out. But the Team Apollo people are going to get this really soon. Really, I know I keep saying that, but it's like right there, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping you guys will engage in it. And it will also be for people that are not even paying members. There will be a kind of a general area where you could be part of our community, and we will share things with you, and only people in the community have taken the time to sign up and engage and all that good stuff too. Wow, no, I am not in the programs yet. I'm so excited to win. I never won anything. Jennifer Gregory, welcome aboard. Jay and Hoove and Baby Girl and Elian, I hope that's how you say your name. I really, and I think you're in New York now, but I think you're from France. Why do I think that? Bavesh, you know what? Bavesh, I am so grateful that you are part of my YouTube channel and my community, and I appreciate all the wonderful things that you say on the platform. It does warm my heart, and I read them. And we respond to most of them. Oh, what do we got here? Mike Rose, unemployed for a year, 0.6. I have an incredible job offer with a great company that requires relo. I prefer not to relocate. How long is too long unemployed? So Mike, there's no set amount. If you don't want to relocate from Florida to wherever, and I know it's pretty sweet in Florida, if you don't want to do it, I wouldn't do it. I would keep going. I would. You have the tactics now. You've been surfacing opportunities. You're getting job offers. I mean, you got this. So if you don't want to take it, don't take it. I'm telling you that. By the way, folks, I'm talking to Mike, no one else here right now, because I know Mike and I've worked with him and I know what he's capable of, and it'll happen. And I think the unemployment thing is for various reasons, and not your qualifications, not your ability to surface those roles in the space that you're in. So if you're asking me, is it okay to keep going? I'm telling you it is. Get what you want. The rest of the world be damned. All right, let me keep rolling. How are we doing? 12:45? All right, you guys loving this? Come on, man. Hit the thumbs up. I'm going to keep going. We're going to 1 o'clock. Come on, it's Community Appreciation Week. What else can I give away here? Vicky Hartman, many interviews or recruiters will not give you feedback. Is this a fear of saying something that could lead to litigation? You know what? Vicky Hartman, let's give you something. Support at milewalk.com. Take one of those $100 courses. Job search minicamp, job search challenge, resume writing workshop, and or interview collection, or use the 100 bones to get to the job search bootcamp. I don't think you're in I don't know. Kara will tell me your vitals. And if you are, I will think of something else to give you. Okay, so a couple things. You look at it from the employer's perspective. If I give you feedback in this, by the way, I'm not calling you sensitive, Vicky. in this overly sensitive, crazed, lawsuit-infested world we now live in. Okay, why on earth would I take the chance to say anything that you could go off and tell some lawyer who's got, ambulance chasing, soda, corporate chasing, whatever you want to call it, and say, let's go after them, and it's discrimination. It's this or that. Whatever. I wouldn't in the least. I would say to you, depending on what the situation was, if you were a total nuthead, right, and you're sloppy and you came in late and you're late for the interviews and you kicked the desk and whatever, I would just say, thank you for interviewing with us. We decided to go in a different direction. Have a nice life. There you go. That's it. Or we chose somebody else or whatever. If you were super close and I really liked you and somebody else squeaked you out, I would want you to know I love you and someone else squeaked you out. And I want you to know that because I want you to know that I'm going to keep my eyes open in my company if another position surfaces, and I would like you to check in with me if you don't hear from me in 90 days. Check in. I like you. Let's stay connected, right? I might say that. We just chose somebody with slightly better skills. It doesn't matter whether you think they have better skills or not. I'm just telling you because I want to make sure that I'm saying something that keeps us engaged from a relationship standpoint. So it doesn't do me a lot of good to say, well, you were this and that, and because it could be twisted and taken out of context. So there's no upside for them to give you feedback in most cases, which is why they don't. So the answer to your question is yes. Yes. And that earns you a prize. All right. Kara's telling me I'm getting to the bottom of the chat. That's okay. I can keep talking. All right. Susan Wines. How you doing, my dear? All right. LinkedIn prompts its members. Okay, wait. I want to check something. All right. LinkedIn prompts its members to apply the frame open to work on their profile picture. What is your advice? Never do that. Everybody's open to work. Actually, over 80% of people, 88% of people are open to work. Everybody is open to work. So I don't know what the 12% of the people who are not open to work are doing if they're people like me, because I'm not open to work because I love what I do, right? And Kara better not be open to work and Stacy better not be open to work. You know what I mean? Like, why would you put a green circle or a purple circle or a yellow circle around your face? Okay, so everybody's open to work. And it doesn't make any difference if I see that circle or not. And so LinkedIn is so out of touch with the world, it's sick, and that's what happens when you're the only game in town. It really is true. So anyway, my advice, and Stacy can put the video up where I talk about this, but don't do that. Don't put that circle around your face, and don't put anything around your face. Just leave your face. And don't put hashtags open to work, open for work, open to I'll do anything for work. Don't do any of that stuff. You're giving away any of your negotiation leverage, and even if you are unemployed and it says unemployed on your LinkedIn profile or whatever, I still wouldn't put the circle there. I wouldn't do it. Jay, how to tailor your story when you reach out a person through boss hunting without any job. How to tailor your story. Jay, wait, aren't you Jay in my boot camp? I don't see your boot camp hashtag, but I want to say you are. But regardless, when you are reaching out, because you all have access to the boss hunting templates. The boss hunting templates are cover letter templates to target bosses. They are different than the Boss Hunting Bible, which is many, many more pages of the templates and rebuttals and how to approach it and all the instruction and everything they're going to say to you and what you need to say back and all that good stuff. What if they refer you to the recruiter? What if they tell you to put it in the applicant tracking system? All that stuff. Now, Jay, if you're the Jay in the boot camp, in the download section of the searching section will be the Boss Hunting Bible. That's one thing for you to make sure to grab if that's you. If it's not, what you're doing when you're reaching out to a boss at a company, you have to have context of the company's products and services. So you are talking about how your background aligns to your product, to their products and services, right? So the language is different. I've written it differently for the different templates, whether you know a position exists or you don't know a position exists. So just grab the template and that template will take care of itself. And if you're in the boot camp, then grab the Bible. And if you are not in the boot camp, grab the free download from my YouTube channel. So I hope that helps. Agent 99, you're welcome. And that's awesome to have you here live. And yeah, there it is. There are 0 reliable salary sources. Valerie, you're welcome. Paul, what's the good word? Okay. Mike Rose, is your daily calendar system available yet? Create a tool system would be great. Okay, so if you're asking like an app or the planner that I want to develop, that's not ready. I don't know if you're in it yet, or maybe you're focused on the boot camp stuff. In my productivity challenge, I show you exactly how I run my life, my weeks and days, what the day looks like exactly, what the template looks like for my week, where the slots go, and all that good stuff. Obviously, this week's different because this week I'm operating on a Thursday schedule every day. So it's a little different, but I don't have that all done, and I'm not sure which one you're asking me about, but the productivity challenge is pretty good if you haven't seen it. Myron Grimes, 1 o'clock, great energy. Yes, thank you. Woo, Vicky Hartman, yes, go email Kara. Oh, Belgian in the house. But yes, French speaking. I knew it was, oh, great. You know it hurts me when I don't pronounce your names correctly. So you got to just tell me. I don't take offense and I don't get embarrassed. I do my best. And that's great. Awesome. And you are in New York. I know these things. All right. Paulin, I'm a college student looking for a co-op. I got a reference from my professor to her friend, which is the CEO of a company. That sounds great. I just got the CEO's number today. So I open up the conversation. Damn straight. You go. Go, go, go. By the way, if any of you are wondering, Andy, should I? The answer is going to be yes, go. Do. Go. Do. Always. Nancy, Letitia, Marion, no wonder I don't get any bites for purple circles around my face. Yes, oh my God, take that off. You're never gonna get a bite if you got a purple circle around your face and you're actually looking for a job, or even the other way around. Yolanda, great to have you. Wish to get back to B2C after 18 years in B2B. Been told putting past B2C shows I'm very senior and probably too expensive ageism. Can you develop a resume without years shown? It's a little more difficult, but what I would do is I would take the last however many years you want. By the way, I can't give you the exact number because the resume itself, when a recruiter or a hiring official looks at your resume, they look at the whole thing for context. So it's not a matter of for me, it's not a matter of how old you are, it's the context. So for me, for example, I said a little while back, my first 10 years, so back in the late 80s to the late 90s, from like 88 to 99, I had a 10-year run with what's now Accenture. In context, that's a great run to put on my resume, so I would want to show that. And if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to run continuous from 98, 88, 99, whatever, and all the way through. If you have some B2C work in the early years, and maybe it was 3 years here and 4 years here and whatever, you could have a resume that goes present back to, I don't know, 2012, 2015, 2002 or 2005 or even 2000 or whatever, say go back 20. And then underneath it, you can say additional experience without dates, held additional B2C, blah, 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 this and that. That's okay. You could take the year off if you have a degree, if you have education or degrees or bachelor's or master's or whatever, you could take those years off if you want. So you can certainly do that. Then it becomes a matter of how many years should I go? What should I put? It all depends, and everybody's going to be different. No one in their right mind should tell you, or you shouldn't believe anybody who says, no, you need 15 years. I don't care how many years you have. I care what markets you best, right? For some of you, that's 10. For some of you, it's 40, okay? So there is no specific rule that can be applied across people. Okay, it's a matter of how does that look together? Does my 10 years at a company that says I worked for a whole ton of companies, saw a whole bunch of stuff, even though I don't have to say a lot of that in the resume, but I could say that in an interview. I interviewed for X number of companies in those industries. I managed teams of whatever, sold, but whatever, right? That enhances my desirability for an employer. It's a marketing document. Okay, it's not an ageism document. It's not a work history document at all. We use our work history to advertise ourselves and market ourselves. Know the difference. Somebody who's telling you 10 years, 15 years, that's nonsense. Just flat out stupid. So keep that in mind. Jay, you are a boot camper. Awesome. See you later, Deb. Mr. 97, applying to great company and role, but comp is 20% low. Any pointers during the interview to get them to see I can do more and adjust the comp? Keith, you have all the assets that you need. Don't pay attention to the 20% below. That's just going to give you baggage, mental baggage through the interview process. You know all this stuff. Here, real fast, every time you start an interview process, anybody, there's two things. The problem, who they think solves the problem. Here's the challenge I have. I need to fill a position to do something to help me overcome a problem. I need something fixed, something streamlined, something handled, something sold, something increased, whatever. Then here's the job description of who I think can solve that problem and what I think mentally, maybe on the list or not, what that job pays. Your job is to go into the interview process and, okay, that's your problem. That's fixed, at least for the short term. What's not fixed is who can solve that problem and what that problem or slash solution will look like when it's solved. So if Mr. 97 can take this and say, well, I could solve your problem this way and give you this kind of ROI. This kind of ROI versus somebody who's less experienced who can only give you this level of ROI, I'm worth more. You pay more for that, right? So then you're changing in their mind the paradigm of who can solve the problem and to what degree the problem can be solved. That's what elevates the compensation. That's what you should be working toward. So everything that I've given you in the interviewing stuff in the boot camp and all the other places that you have access to should help you do that. Mindset, baby. Okay, folks. Mike Rose, we'll see you. Vicky Hartman, get that gift. Valerie or whoever else had it, Jennifer, support at milewalk.com. All y'all, everything's on sale this week. Check it out. You got any questions about the programs? Ask me tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow with another list. We're talking resume and interviewing power. Okay? So I'll see you guys later. You be great. Talk to you soon. As in real soon. As in less than 24 hours. Okay.